Hello? Hello? Okay. Okay, are you all back? Okay, there's 8 people. I think we had two casualties, or 4 casualties. There used to be 12. We will see. All right, so how many of you are back? I think we're missing Julia. The model I sent you the Reddit link from is here too. Oh, that was you, Julia, but she's not here. I think she got lost along the way. I think she got lost along the way. We can wait for her a little bit. I mean, I still have to send the link to everyone else. So I'll send the link and we'll talk. All right. Hello, Julia. All right. So while we wait for people to come, would you tell me your theory? Because I just got the link from Durban, and I want to see. Would you tell us your theory? So we were talking about how we were talking about how it feels like Chaturbate already peaked, and we're starting to see the decline. And normally, when this happens, the decline is very, very fast. It's not something that's going to take years to unfold. So when I was saying this, somebody in my chat room said that there was a Reddit thread about it, and he linked me, but I haven't checked it. So he just said it was you who wrote it. So I suppose you're an independent model, right? And you probably have some idea, or at least a feeling of what is happening. I mean, I have my own theory, and I think I tend to be very accurate, when I analyze things. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but, that is just the case. And I want to tell you what I think is happening, and then we can discuss. That was you. Okay, there's a little bit of lag, because I talk and then I see your answers way later. So if I ignore you in chat, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because it's taking a little while to go back and forth. All right, so, while she writes this, I am going to go ahead and start talking about this. So for the past 10 years, I have been a cam model on a platform called Chaturbate.com. And I have been in that platform very happy and wildly successful. There were years where I was literally the most popular model on the platform because I had the most viewers watching when I was online from the entire platform every day. And also in terms of earnings, I have been in the top 5 for years straight. Not now, because I'm not, coming regularly anymore, but when I did. So what I have seen for the past few years is, well, actually ever since I started, I have seen this platform have, take on different shapes. Like the algorithm, it's kind of like YouTube, the algorithm changes and then the things that dominate the homepage change, and then some models find themselves, they find themselves be affected by these changes, and some of them adjust and some of them don't. But I am making this video today because I think Chaturbate has peaked and we're starting to see the decline. I have already I went through a decline like this before with my previous platform called MFC, and I'm seeing the same signs here on Chaturbate. So I want to talk to you about that, and I want us to come to an understanding of whether or not it is different this time, like whether or not we should stay and try to continue to confide that this will, turn out for the best, or if it's really more of a doomsday scenario where we have to jump ship and find something else. Unfortunately, this time around, there is not another platform to go to, which is sad. Sorry, I was looking for a plugin for you. Plugin version 2X OBS. It's very good for audio. Oh, okay. Is the audio bad or is it good? Because I have no idea. I am an independent model too. My theory is that they are promoting their own studios or partner studios. Okay. So you think they're like colluding with studios to like promote certain models above others. And you think it has to do, do you have, how far have you gone with the observations? Have you managed to establish that some models are in the same studio and these are the models that are being promoted? Or is it just a hunch that you have? Because I think they are both valuable, but I just want to make sure I have all the details. I doubt there is any growth and new members coming. Yeah, that is pretty much what I feel like too. Okay, so do you want to hear my theory of what is going on? I will explain it to you. I'm thinking of how to explain it in a way that is smooth and easy. All right, so I have been a cam model for many, many years, and before Chaturbate, I used to work at another platform called MFC. And that platform pretty much died. It's still on, you can go on MFC, but it's but a ghost of what it used to be. And there's 5 models left from the ones that made the site great. Because you have to understand, at the end of the day, the site is made by the performers that you have on the site. The quality of the performers, the quality of the shows they put up is what makes or breaks a platform. Obviously, there are many other considerations to have, like payment. If you can't get tokens because the payment sucks, then obviously, it's not going to work out. But providing that you have all the technical aspects down, like the website has a smooth payment system and some decent traffic, the only thing that separates a great website from a shitty website are the people performing in it. If you have bad or questionable models, then you're not going to attract the kind of people that wants to spend on the site. You're going to attract tons of people watching, but the people watching are not necessarily spenders. It's not necessarily the same group of people. So basically, this is something that gets overlooked because how do you, like, it's not measurable. You cannot measure, like, you can measure amount of people watching. You can measure how many tokens are sitting in the pockets of the people watching a model. You can measure how long has she been on cam today, but you cannot measure how entertaining and how good she is. This is something that is, you know, it's a quality of the model that goes beyond anything that you can measure. It doesn't fit neatly into an algorithm. And because of that, it's not easy to like give, you know, reward people for being entertaining because you don't have, there's no way to automate this. This would have to be done by somebody with 2 eyes who has the capacity to even know, you know, the wheat from the chaff. Like, is this a good model or is this a shitty model? I don't know. See what I mean? Okay. So back when I was on MFC, we had a wonderful site going on. Like, I was so happy to be part of MFC. It had a reputation for having the hottest girls. There was no Twitch. There was no YouTube Live. The only people doing live streaming were us on MFC. And so anyone who wanted to see any kind of live performance, the only place that you could get that was literally MFC. And so, it was an explosion of creativity, and there's somebody like throwing bottles, like glass bottles, into a container somewhere, and I don't know if you guys can hear it. Can you hear it? It's very distracting. So anyway, like, I feel like if I could play music, this would be drowned by the music, and I could continue like to talk and not care. But because I can't play music here, each platform has its own problems, and this one is like no music for you. So I'm like at the mercy of interference. So anyway, as I was saying, everything on MFC, there was no competition. Like, it was just us. And more than that, MFC did not allow studios. So every single model streaming on MFC was somebody who, A, found MFC on their own. Do you know how difficult it is for a woman, or it was for a woman in 2013, to like realize that this existed at all? She was probably somebody who was very online, very savvy, or had somebody in her life who pointed the way. And she was bold enough and crazy enough and adventurous enough to actually sign up for this. So the personalities were very strong. We had a bunch of women who gave no damns, you know? And they put up incredible shows, so creative, like nothing you can see today on any streaming platform. It was incredible. And what happened was the site was full of life. Now, here comes the issue. For a website to work, for a place like Chaturbate or MFC to work, there's 2 main components. If you're the platform, right? You're the platform. I am MFC or I am Chaturbate, and I'm starting in this business and I want to make it work. I need to figure out 2 sides of the equation. I need to figure out the traffic that is coming to watch the people and tip them and spend. And I need to figure out the models that are going to be performing on the site. I need to get both sides of the equation straight, because if I have a ton of traffic but I don't have models, who are they going to tip? And if I have the models but I don't have traffic, how am I going to keep them on the site if I can pay them? So you have to kind of like balance both sides of the equation at the same time. And what sites normally would do is they would often have something called an affiliate program. What is an affiliate program? Well, an affiliate program is a program that pays people for bringing traffic to the site. Say that you have a website and you have 10 people who every day come to read what you write on your blog. If you put a link to Chaturbate on your blog and you bring me someone who spends, I will pay you for this person spending a fraction of what they spend. So you have an incentive to bring people to my site, and I have customers that spend on my site, And that's how it used to work. Now, Leo, the owner of MFC, never put too much trust on the affiliate programs. He didn't like them. He didn't like having to pay people to bring traffic to the site. He thought he could circumvent this and do it a different way. So what he would do is he would engineer crazy campaigns. For example, I'll give you a few examples. He would get famous porn stars to come stream on the site. Like, I remember, who was it that he got to stream on the site? Because that way, he would get these super famous names from the past to come stream, and then he could send this as news to different news sites, and they would publish it because it was interesting. He once got a news article published about how one of the main cam girls on MFC was dating Drew Carey. And the whole article was about how they met on MFC, how Drew Carey was a customer at MFC and met Nikki Schuyler, that was the name of the model. He met Nikki Schuyler on the site, and they are now together, and they are having a relationship, they're gonna get married. It got picked up by everybody. So that's how he used to he kind of wanted to outsmart like the system and find ways to bring traffic to the site without having to pay for the traffic. Now, this was dumb because you can't keep this spinning indefinitely. So eventually he caved and he got this affiliate program called Crack Revenue to add MFC to the roster of offers. So now MFC was paying for traffic, and this was great. For a while, MFC got more traffic. Models were very happy. We were having new users coming to the site, spending, everything was wonderful. But what happened was, about a year later or so, Leo changed his mind again, and he closed down the affiliate program. That was 2014. And he decided not to honor some of the signups that were done through the affiliate program, and he closed it all together. And he thought this was brilliant, but it was really, really stupid. Why? Because he was confident, he thought that he had amassed a community of people spending big enough that he didn't need new traffic. He thought that he could live off of the people that were already spending. They were very loyal, they were very faithful, and they were high spenders, so he didn't think he needed anything else. And what happened was that the user base started to age. What does that mean, that they started to age? Like I explained before, when a user is new, when you first get to any sort of platform, even if it's just casinos, things like that, when you first sign up, you're very eager to spend. You want to test. Everything is new. You want to see everything that the platform has to offer. You go everywhere you're spending. You have a lot of energy to burn. But as you learn the ropes, as everything becomes more of a habit rather than a novelty, you kind of start to settle into a pattern, into a spending pattern that becomes slower and slower as time goes by. And that's how you mature as a user. Eventually, you start spending at a minimum, and it takes a really special model, someone who ticks all of your boxes to make you excited again about spending so that you can, start spending again with renewed excitement. And this doesn't always happen. So when you have an entire website that doesn't really get fresh users that are willing to spend, it's just the same users coming every day, spending every day, it starts getting slower and slower. And it is the same amount of models fighting for an ever-decreasing number of tokens. There's less and less tokens being spent on the site, but the same amount of models trying to fight for them. So this turns the relationship between the models into a bloodbath. Everybody starts trying to undercut one another. And on NFC, this was super dramatic. This is super dramatic. I remember seeing models selling all of their videos for 1 token. I'm not kidding. They were hoping they could hook a user that will become a big spender of theirs by giving them all of their videos for 1 token. And when I saw this happening, I could have been pulled down into the mud with them and, fight for but it's never been in my nature to compete this way with other people. I feel like we should elevate each other and not drag everybody else down with you. But I couldn't compete, you see, because now the users seeing all of these crazy, crazy bargains, they wouldn't spend 1 token playing a game with you. They wouldn't spend a token doing a goal with you if they can get all of the videos of Stacy for 1 token. So models who didn't follow suit, we're seeing a really big decrease in their earnings. And this is the moment when, like I said before, this is like a roller coaster. When you jump into a roller coaster and it's like you go up, 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 and then you get to the top, and then it's like a free fall. You see wah! You go down really fast. That's exactly what happened on MFC. I jumped into the roller coaster as it was going up, and then we got over to the peak, and I was seeing the free fall that was coming from a mile away. I'm like, we're gonna fall, we're gonna fall, we're gonna fall, but nobody saw it. It was just me. I was the one seeing it, and I was in a cam model forum back then, and I was telling everybody, this thing is gonna crash. This is gonna crash. This is not sustainable. This is gonna crash unless something is done, unless we have a new affiliate program, unless we bring more traffic to the site. This thing is going to collapse. And everybody thought I was crazy. They all called me crazy. They all said I was crazy because I was a top 20 model on MFC and I was moving to Chaturbate. I decided one day I was not going to go down with the ship, and I moved over to Chaturbate. And I have been in Chaturbate since. It's been 10 years, and I have been very happy on Chaturbate. All the models that said I was crazy went down with the ship on MFC. They didn't jump ship to MFC. To Chaturbate. So my career has been 10 years longer than many of the people who were criticizing me. So the thing is, now I'm seeing the same thing on Chaturbate in a different way. Now I'm seeing Chaturbate is going to collapse, and I'm thinking of jumping ship, but the problem is I don't have where to go. So I'm going to read the comments of Julia in chat, and I'm going to show you a picture that I want you to see that I think it's a lot of fun. And I'll then continue to explain what I'm seeing on Chaturbate. So first, Julia is a fellow model, and she also sees things are not good. And I'm curious about her theory, so I'm going to read what she said in chat. Okay, so Aussie said, back in the day, there were no personal subscription services. Fans of models probably preferred to give all the money to the models, not have the 10-30% cut taken by the platform. Well, every platform takes a cut, even OnlyFans, all platforms take a cut. I'm trans, so it's easier to follow the movement of the models, including the studios. It is very easy to see how studios are promoted. You realize that the model doesn't know how to use OBS Studio, but everything is already working, and they start with love-ins. You see them working together too. Okay, I agree with you. Users have a lifespan within the platform. If no new users join, only a few remain. If the traffic isn't renewed, it eventually ends. Correct. On June 1st, 2024, my user flow dropped by more than 50%, and so did my revenue. It is impossible to see a drastic decline on Chaturbate hours with no explanation at all. Yeah, absolutely, Julia. Absolutely, you're right on the money. I think, okay, so this is my experience as a female model. When I started on Chaturbate the first day, I felt like it was because I was so sexy and so smart. I'm so sexy, so smart, and so experienced. Because let me tell you one thing. I had been working on MFC for 3 years. MFC is brutal because they have something called the CAM score. That's the way that models get organized on the front page. And the way it works is tokens per hour. So you have to be making as many tokens per hour as you can. Otherwise, you drop on the homepage. It's over a 60-day period. So the stakes are very, very high. Like, you're super nervous when you're camming there because if you're not earning tokens, you're losing placement. So I had been camming for 3 years under this frame. So when I got to Chaturbate, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I can cam as many hours as I want and not be penalized by being here. This is incredible. And on my first stream, I thought, this is because I'm sexy. This is because I'm entertaining. This is because I have such a good personality. But the fact is, I had 4,000 people watching on my first stream, and I didn't have to do anything for it. And now I realize that I was probably selected and placed there by someone, because, it doesn't happen, right? How am I going to get to a platform that I've never been to and get 4,000 viewers off the bat? It must have been that somebody over at Chaturbate selected me and placed me high, right? Now I know that. I didn't know it at the time, but I do now. I was, I had a really good lighting. I had really good quality. I was sexy. I was young. I knew what I was doing. So I was placed very high, and I became like a Chaturbate sensation from day one. I was very lucky that way. And I didn't understand that they actually manipulate the placement of the models until way later. And this happened for a few years, I was camming, kind of like low-key camming. I had been very successful at MFC, but my every waking moment was devoted to MFC, and I was completely burnt out. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take it easy. Now I can take it easy because this platform doesn't penalize me for streaming long hours. I can be here 2-3 times a week and stay for as long as I need to, and then, rest the rest of the time. And I spent a few years like that until one time when I decided that I was going to give it my all. And this was 2018. And I started doing 8 hours every single day. And my one aim every single day was to become the #1 cam on the site. They had this thing called the contest. I don't know if you've been on the site long enough, but they used to have this thing called the hourly contest. The model with the most registered users would get $10 per hour that she was #1. And my aim every single day was to become #1. So I banned chairs from my room. I spent the entire session standing, dancing, and jumping around like a maniac. And, it was a lot of fun. But because I had I was paying so much attention to the numbers, I realized that they weren't really real. You know what I mean? That they were manipulated. And this was years ago. And the way they manipulate the numbers have changed in significant ways. And now it's gotten to a point where it's absurd. And I'm going to explain the differences, like how this has changed over time. Since I realized what was going on, how it has changed over time. Okay, so wait, let me read what is being said in the chat. My earnings have increased a lot there. I spent 3 years with a lot of stability at the top, but starting on June 1st, my room stopped rising. Even with more users in the room receiving more tokens from different users, my room stays below people with much lower numbers. Yes, okay, so let me explain what you're seeing, okay? All right, so this that you're describing is perfectly understandable because they have, last year, I think it was at the beginning of the year, I noticed that they rearranged the homepage and they added, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's it's a very condescending box to the right of the screen where you can select as a user the amount of traffic that you want to filter the rooms by. Apparently, somebody in Chaturbate thinks this is a good idea. And they have said it, like, the reason I say this is condescending is not because you can filter it. I get it if someone wants a room that is small so they can talk to the model and they can do privates, and somebody wants a room that is high energy and has tons of interaction and they want a big room. I get that. The thing is that the names they gave it are so demeaning to the models who have spent so many years perfecting the craft, becoming entertaining, becoming somebody worth watching, because they call small rooms intimate, meaning something positive, right? You go to an intimate room to have an intimate experience in a cozy setting, right? And the rooms that are popular with models who are entertaining and fun to watch and therefore have a very big following, they're calling it high traffic. You know, high traffic, like you're stuck in traffic, like you're trying to get somewhere and you're stuck in traffic with your car and you can't get anywhere. High traffic, something, it sounds almost derogatory. And I know it's something very subtle. I know not many people will see it, but I definitely do see it. I see how they're trying to elevate low traffic rooms and they want to sink high traffic rooms like that. And the reason they're doing this, it's very easy to see. Like if you put yourself in the mindset of the people behind Chaturbate, it's very easy to see why they're doing this. They are doing this because they are afraid of strip chat. Okay? Strip chat sorts the rooms geographically. And at the same time they implemented this stupid thing, they also started pressing models to add their own flag to their preview, to say where they're from. And they even made it more difficult. They hid behind 2 clicks the geo-blocking feature. So they're trying to emulate strip chat. If you go into strip chat, it is a terrible website. I hate it. I was going to try and force myself to cam there, but I just can't. It's just horrible. It feels cheap and ugly, and I don't want to be there. But they think this is a competition. And so they're trying to compete against strip chat by turning Chaturbate into strip chat, which is really stupid. Because Chaturbate, if anything, should realize that they picked up the baton from MFC. They are the hub for American and Canadian and British models and independent models. I mean, it doesn't matter where they're from, but you know what I mean. It's models who are independent and who are exciting and who have, because, you know, studio models are very different creatures, and there are exceptions, obviously, like in everything in life, and there are some studio models that are wonderful. But for the most part, a studio model is somebody who's desperate for money, and they answer an ad online. They don't even know what they're being promised. All they see is, you can earn $4,000 a week. And they go and they show up at the studio and they get some stupid training, and that's it. They are mercenaries. They're not there because they enjoy entertaining people. They're not there because they have a personality that is sparkly and shining, and they are excited to interact with people. They're there because they answered an ad online, literally, okay? And so they should be picking up the baton from MFC, because there's a lot of, like, the people who want to pay for these things, they're not interested in seeing a vagina up close. Like, you can go to Pornhub for that and it's free, you know? Like, they want interaction, and they want to interact with someone who's exciting and fun. And if you just litter the entire homepage with models who are like mannequins, who are like going through the motions but don't have the heart in it, then what you're doing is you're appealing to the lowest common denominator, and the people who have the money are not interested in that. So that is my opinion on this anyway. So let me tell you a little bit about how the traffic fluctuated across time, okay? How the traffic, not the traffic, but like how the algorithm changed through time, the changes that I have seen. So when I first noticed this was happening, I realized that they were basically promoting, in order to promote a room, they can choose the placement of a room by inflating the room's numbers through bots. So there's bots that studios control. They have puppet accounts, and they have bots that they control. But there's also bots that Chaturbate controls. And I say bots, but really they are members, like member accounts that Chaturbate controls. And they can target, they can target rooms and send bots to these rooms. And by doing this, they alter the placement of the model that they're sending the bots to, and they're choosing where to send her, because the more registered users you have on your site, on your cam room watching, the higher you are on the homepage. So if I send 100 bots to your room, I give you a little bump. But if I send 5,000, I put you on the first row. You understand? So this is how they control it. And I realized that this was going on because I realized that they had automated part of the equation. So they were giving more exposure to models that had been camming during that session longer. So I realized that I had been camming, and then when I hit 1 hour online, my users would go magically from like 600 to 1,000 in like 5 minutes. And then they would stay stuck in 1,000, until I reached the second hour. And around the second hour mark, they would bump again up to 2,000, and then they would stay in 2,000. You see what I mean? I would see very inorganic bumps in traffic that you couldn't explain, and they would match the amount of time I had been camming for. So I realized that, and it makes sense. If you're Chaturbate support, maybe you think that what you want people to see is naked chicks. They don't want to see a girl saying hi to everybody. Welcome to my room, all dressed, no action. They don't want to have that on dominating the homepage. So what do? Well, you start bumping people that have been on longer, because that means that the show is going somewhere. You know what I mean? If you have been on cam for 1 hour or for 2 hours, then that means that you're probably already taken your top off. You're probably already showing some skin and doing something that they consider worthwhile of the homepage. So that was one way that they would do it back then. And then I saw a very big change in the way that this worked. Back then, I was a non-nude model, so I was always dressed. I was never naked. And I was #1 cam on the site. I had the most people watching. Every single stream of mine, I would get to #1. Every single stream. I was on for 8 hours every day, and I would get to #1 every single day. It never failed, and I was never naked. Now you have to understand that Chaturbate support had people in almost every forum online. And I was a part of the affiliate program forum, because Chaturbate had an affiliate program. They were paying people to bring traffic. And because I have my newsletter, I have an affiliate link. So I was on the affiliate forum, okay? The forum where all the affiliates for many different porn sites or adult sites hang out on. I was a part of that forum. And there was a thread about Chaturbate, the Chaturbate earnings, it was called, where they would discuss how they were doing with the Chaturbate affiliate program. Now, I want to say several things. See, this is where things get thorny, right? And let me explain. This is where things get very thorny. The people on this website, on the affiliate forum, there's all kinds of people who used to promote Chaturbate. Even Pornhub had Chaturbate pop-ups back in the day. Okay? People, very successful people, were promoting Chaturbate, and they were doing fabulously at it, because otherwise they would be promoting something else. But they were happy because they were promoting Chaturbate for years, and it was wonderful. The people who wrote, who actually went to this forum and complained, were failed affiliates, were people who were just new to the game of affiliate marketing, or they had been affiliates for a while, but they weren't seeing any success with Chaturbate, and they used this thread to complain. And they were very annoying and very persistent. They would go every single day to complain. And what did they complain about? They complained about the models that were featured in the pop-ups. You see? They said that they were not seeing any conversions. They were not seeing any of their users spend money or become Chaturbate users, sign up for the site, because the models that Chaturbate was promoting in the pop-up were not good enough. You see? And what did they complain about? So first of all, Chaturbate selected the models for the pop-ups using like the contest. So the top cam, the model who had the most people watching, was featured in the pop-up. That was usually me. Second, there were other promo tools, like one of them had 10 models. It was like a banner with 10 models online, and those 10 were the top 10 models. So the top 10 people, the top 10 models that had the most users watching were the ones being featured there. So what did they complain about? Well, they would put screen caps of several different things. One, models who had gone to the bathroom, so the chair was empty, and they were featured in the pop-up, and they complained, see, because this model went to the bathroom and there was an empty chair, who's gonna sign up to an empty chair? They were complaining that there were models who were too fat or too old being featured, and they couldn't make a sign up because the models were too old or too fat. And they even used one screenshot of me saying, if the model is not naked, who is going to sign up to talk to them? They even called me a cow, by the way. And I was way skinny back then. I wasn't this fat. I was thin back then. So what did Chaturbate do? They had a representative in this forum. What did they do? What do you think they did? They listened. They listened. Can you believe that? They listened to these failed affiliates. What did they do? Okay, they started, I realized, like you did, Julia, that one day in May 2019, I realized that no matter what I did, I couldn't get into the promo tools anymore. It didn't matter what I did. I was doing the exact same show with the exact same level of undress. Everything was the same, but I couldn't get into the promo tools anymore. Not only me, but other models. I had a friend called Clara Chan, who was also non-nude in public chat. She used to dominate the site. She was nowhere to be seen either. They decided that all the models in the promo tools had to be naked. So all the models who were not naked were no longer able to place in the top 10. You see? And I suspect that they also listened. They're not going to say this publicly, obviously. I had a really bad conversation with Shirley because I made a video about this. I got so upset. That they were penalizing me for not wanting to be naked, that I made a video and I posted it to Twitter, and everybody was mad. So Shirley talked to me. She called me on the phone. Can you believe it? Chaturbate support never talks to anybody, but Shirley called me on the phone to talk about this, to ask me to please stop making a fuss about it. She promised that that there was no way that Chaturbate could manage or control who was on what part of the site. She double duper super promised me. But come on, I mean, it's obvious they do. And I think they listened to the guy saying fat cows, old cows, or whatever, because if you see the models that they're featuring right now, it's not so much that they are studio models, it's that they have a certain look. You know what I mean? They all look the same. It's the same type of body, it's the same type of show, they're all naked, doing very explicit things, and they all have a very slender body with, you know, the perfect type of like mannequin body. And we used to have a lot of divergence. Like there used to be a lot of different types of bodies, types of, you know, ages, bodies, everything. And now they don't. And okay, so the second, I don't even want them to like select people who don't earn it. What I want is for them to respect the natural allocation of traffic. If a model is entertaining, she's going to have traffic. Traffic is going to stay in her room, and she will rise naturally. You don't have to penalize her. If you elevate everybody, but you don't elevate this chick, then you're penalizing her. You see what I mean? They don't have to touch anything. They should just let people fall where they may. But then again, it's their website. I mean, I don't care. It's their website. You know what I mean? They can do whatever they want. I mean, they're the ones paying for the traffic. But let me tell you one thing. If your site is failing, and Chaturbate clearly is, all the appeasing they did with the affiliates was for nothing, because nobody is promoting Chaturbate anymore. And you want to know why? It's because you don't appease the terrorist. You know what I mean? They had a good thing going for them. They had a great thing going for them until they started touching things. And then people are not, contrary to what you may believe if you're a failed affiliate, a person has less of a reason to sign up to the website when what you see is a naked chick ramming a dildo up her vagina. Because what people normally want when they sign up to one of these websites, they need some intrigue. They need to be intrigued by the person in the pop-up. They need to want to talk to her. They need to want to interact with her. If there's nothing to tip for because the chick is naked and she's ramming a dildo up her butthole, then what are you going to sign up for? You don't. You see? You understand? So these are all considerations that Chaturbate team doesn't really understand or care to understand. They just wanted to appease the forum complainers. And by doing so, they lost. And now they have Strip Chat, who's rising to prominence, and it's a terrible website, and Chaturbate would win, like in a second. Chaturbate would win in a second against Strip Chat if they respected their talent. They have incredibly talented cam girls coming on this website, and they're pushing them farther and farther down the homepage. I can't believe that I'm seeing models that are incredible. I'm seeing like Cinabelle, I'm seeing Joan, I'm seeing Mary Moody, I'm seeing all of these incredible entertainers dropping like rocks. They're like on the second page now. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you think Strip Chat can compete with fabulous entertainers? And we're exiting. We're jumping ship. I am going to go. I'm going to leave Chaturbate. I can't break past 300 users now. 300 users is what they're sending me. 300 users. I am honestly, I am a seasoned cam girl. I know how I am really good at what I do, and I am being penalized like all of these girls. So we're just going to have to exit, and now you're going to be left with the bottom of the barrel, girls who don't know how to entertain people. And now you're going to have to compete with Strip Chat. And that's what you seem to want, though. As Chaturbate team seems to want to compete to Strip Chat really, really bad, because that's exactly what they're doing. Do you know why they pushed everybody down last year, 2024, like July 2024, Julia? They did it because they started giving preeminence. They started to select what you want to watch for you. They made an algorithm that surfaces models from page 40. If you say you watch my cam, to Chaturbate, that means that you like big boobs, because they have me pegged in the big boob category. So that means you like big boobs. So what they're going to do is, you used to just see the models that were more popular, that everybody wanted to see. They were on top. Now they have chosen to make one out of 2 rooms is a room they surfaced from the bottom pages just for you. You know? He likes big boobs. Maybe he's going to like this random chick that has never come before on page 64 with a potato webcam. And that chick is now taking the spot of someone who's seasoned, entertaining, good at what they do, all of these things. So if you do that, if you start surfacing people from page 48 and you allot half of the space to these people, what's going to happen to the models that don't make it to the very, very top? They're just going to sink like a rock back into page 2. And that's what you're doing to your models, Chaturbate. I hope you're happy. Your page is going to go, it's going to die. Honestly, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it just like I saw it with MFC. With MFC, we got to the peak of MFC, 2013. I was riding the wave. I was a top 20 model, and I saw the abyss with my own eyes. Like, I knew it. I saw it, and then I wondered, what is going on? Why is this happening? I started researching, and I found it. Leo canceled the affiliate program, and I was like, man, what have you done? And I could see it. I was standing like one step away from the abyss. And I was telling everybody, we are going to crash. And nobody believed me. But I left and I went to Chaturbate. And I have been very happy for 10 years. But now I am at the same spot right now. We're at the peak. Well, we were at the peak. Now it's already declining. But I am looking at the abyss. And I know that we're going to crash. We're going to crash. It's not going to be a slow process. These websites don't die slow deaths. This is going to be fast, and this is going to be merciless. And the worst part of this whole equation is there's nowhere else to go. I don't have the luxury of jumping ship to Chaturbate anymore because I'm in Chaturbate, and the other website is Strip Chat. And I would rather die than be featured on Strip Chat. And I'm pretty sure like most of the talent they have that they push to page 2 are on the same page in this. Nobody wants to go to Strip Chat because it's like the bottom of the barrel. It's just depressing and embarrassing to be there. So that's the story, Morning Glory. What do you think? What do you think? Yes, an attempt to find new models, discoverability, but you know what? They are doing it at the expense of the talent they have that has been loyal to their website for 10 years, like me, and like so many others, honestly. We have models that are incredible. Like I have a bone to pick with Cinabelle. Like I don't like her. She copies me all the time, and I hate that. But she's talented, and she's a great entertainer, and I have no problem admitting that. And she does not deserve to be sitting where she's sitting. And the same thing goes for other models. And even models who were never like tip top of the page, like Joan. She is a great entertainer. She's a human being. She attracts people because she talks to people. And she does not deserve to be sitting in a room with 300 people. She doesn't. So it's not a matter of deserving it. It's a matter of Chaturbate, a website is only as big as their talent is. You cannot compare somebody like Maeve, who talks to people, who is someone with things to say, who has, she's been on the website for years and she has a loyal following. You cannot compare her to a random Stacy who just signed up through a studio in Eastern Europe, doesn't even speak English, and all she does is use a fuck machine in chat. That's not why people visit a campsite. People want interaction. They don't want to see the same thing they can see in Pornhub for free. Like, you want to see somebody ramming a dildo up her ass? You go to Pornhub. That's not what they're there for, at least the spenders. You will always have a bunch of people who just want to watch and wank. But people who want to spend, they want to interact. So that's what's going on. And we're going to see a very sharp decline in Chaturbate very soon. And I would love to say that they don't have it coming, but honestly, it's been mismanaged so bad that I don't even know what to say. Like I tried talking to them so many times, and it never worked. So I have like no faith that they'll take any of this advice. So I wanted to show you something before I go. This is something. Oh my God. This is about like how old like the user base in Chaturbate is. Remember when I said like new people are like fresh blood and they are the ones spending, and then you have a bunch of people who have just been here for years and don't want to spend a dime. I want you to see like the people spending right now. I don't know if I can show this because there's a half-naked woman, but like I want you to see like the people who went to the convention. I'm just going to make a very big zoom. This is the people who went to the convention, to the Venus Berlin convention, taking pictures of the models. I don't know if you can count like how many silver hairs you see. People with cameras taking pictures of the models. Wait, there's one more guy on this side. This is what we're dealing with here, okay? We don't have new people. We don't have new people here. We don't have new people. So yeah, so now I'm going to now I'm going to ask you, oh, that's another thing, by the way. By the way, let me tell you one more thing. Like, this is lore. This is campsite lore, all right? Campsite lore. Do you know when Chaturbate first arrived on the scene, they were not fighting Strip Chat. They were fighting MFC. And MFC was the most popular site, and Chaturbate was the second. And it was a very different website back then. Like, they allowed fisting, just to give you an idea. All of the traffic on Chaturbate was from India. Nobody tipped. And they had that reputation for a long time. Like, models on MFC would not jump ship to Chaturbate because that's, you know, that was the reputation. All the traffic is from India. Nobody spends a single dime. But they were fighting MFC. And because MFC's strategy was to make noise everywhere, they would, you know, they were sponsor all of the X-rated conventions. And Chaturbate thought that was the path to success. So they too started to sponsor conventions. And whenever a model would go to the convention, they would boost them and put them on the first row of the site. Once MFC went to the shitter and disappeared, they forgot about these conventions and they stopped paying attention to models going to conventions. So if any models were in a convention, you would find them on the middle of the site. They weren't at the top because nobody was sending traffic their way. But now they're back, like they think maybe we made a mistake. Maybe the conventions are the answer. Maybe this is the way that we can bring new life into the website. Maybe we need to promote them again. And now you see them dominating the first row of the site again. And it's very sad. Honestly, I mean, it's very sad to see this. Like, you log in and you're gonna camp and what you see is this. What you see is this. Just, what is it? Is it like a porn convention or an elderly? They're giving out checks to the elderly. We don't know. We're not sure. We're out debating. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good time and you found this entertaining and especially informative. This is the reality of the situation. And now I'm going to take some questions from the audience before I go. Anybody has any questions? I need to wait because there's lag. Grandpa's day out. Exactly. You got it. All right, my friends, since nobody has a question and I think I have answered all of them, I'm going to leave. And if you want, this is my YouTube channel. And if you want to know when I upload a video, not necessarily related to this, but to anything else, like my life or whatever, I have another newsletter that you can sign up to receive those. And it's this one. You can go here and, because, you know, here's the thing. YouTube also has its own fuckery going on. Like, if you subscribe to me, even if you hit the bell or whatever, you are never going to see me again. I have subscribed to so many channels and I never see them again because YouTube doesn't show them to me. So I don't want to have to play by those rules anymore. I feel like if you're interested in what I have to say, you can sign up and I'll send you an email if I post something interesting. So that way we don't have to rely on the algorithm feeding you what you actually want to see. You can get an email. So if you want to get them, here's where you can go. Woo! That's my real name, by the way, for those of you who don't know. That's my actual real name. Here it is. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and listening to my TED Talk. I hope it was entertaining, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.